Have you ever found yourself saying yes when just every part of you desperately wanted to say no?
Hmm.
Or maybe you felt that, that nagging resentment building up even when you think you're being kind and accommodating.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a surprisingly common thing, and it can leave you feeling really drained, kind of misunderstood.
Yeah, totally. And that's really what we're diving into today. We're looking at Dr. Robert Glover's book, No More Mr. Nice Guy.
It's such an influential book. He really unpacks how what we often just label as niceness can actually be this ingrained strategy. And ironically, it leads to hidden resentment, really poor boundaries, and just emotional exhaustion.
It's such a counterintuitive idea, isn't it,
Yeah.
that being too nice is the problem. So our mission today for this deep dive is basically to give you a shortcut to understanding this whole concept.
Yeah, pull out some maybe surprising facts, some practical takeaways, things to help you navigate your own relationships, your life, maybe with a bit more authenticity.
Exactly. We want to pull back the curtain on why being overly nice can actually be, well, unhelpful.
Hmm.
Not just for you, but for the people around you too.
So today we're really going to focus on three core things from Dr. Glover's work. First, what is this nice guy syndrome? Let's define that.
Okay.
Second, why does hiding your needs, trying to bury them, cause so many problems? And finally, the practical stuff. How do you actually build genuine confidence? Things like honesty, setting boundaries.
Okay, sounds good. Let's unpack that first one then. The nice guy syndrome. When Dr. Glover talks about a nice guy, he doesn't just mean someone who's genuinely kind, does he?
No, not at all. He's describing men who are like fundamentally conditioned to seek approval from outside themselves. They're overly concerned with looking good. They avoid conflict like the plague. And, their biggest sense of satisfaction comes from making other people happy.
Right. And the core belief driving this, it's this idea that if I'm good, if I'm giving, if I'm caring, then I'll automatically be happy, loved, fulfilled.
Exactly. But that's the myth, isn't it? That's the core of the nice guy syndrome. Because, as Glover points out, this belief almost always fails. Spectacularly sometimes.
How so? What happens?
Well, it leads to this deep frustration, resentment. Because underneath that super nice exterior, they can actually be feeling anything but nice. It's all churning inside.
So it's like this constant internal conflict. He uses archetypes to illustrate this, right? Like Jason, the chiropractor.
Oh, yeah, Jason. He walks into therapy saying, I'm one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. But, his sex life is non-existent. He's simmering with resentment towards his wife, Heather.
Because she criticizes things.
Yeah.
Like how he dresses the baby or cleans the kitchen.
Exactly. And his internal monologue is no matter how hard I try, she always finds something wrong. I don't deserve this. He feels like a victim.
Or Todd, the respectful listener guy. Loads of female friends, but he rarely dates. And he just can't figure out why women go for jerks instead of nice guys like him.
Right. The common thread for all these guys is that same flawed belief. If I just do everything right, if I'm good enough, then I'll get love, my needs will magically be met, life will be smooth sailing.
And the paradox is, this drive to be nice actually breeds some pretty not-so-nice traits.
That's it. Glover points out things like dishonesty, secretiveness. Because they're so scared of conflict or looking bad, nice guys hide mistakes. They'll often say what they think people want to hear, not what they actually feel.
Sort of like, if at first you don't succeed, hide the evidence.
Exactly. And that leads to manipulation too, often subtly. Because asking directly for what they need feels terrifying or wrong, they try to manage situations indirectly just to keep their world smooth.
And the giving to get thing.
Yeah.
That sounds like a recipe for disaster.
It really is. Their generosity often has these unconscious, unspoken strings attached. They expect something back, maybe appreciation, maybe affection, maybe sex, but they don't ask for it.
And when they don't get it.
Boom! Resentment builds. Frustration. Because the other person didn't even know there was a deal on the table.
Wow. Okay, and boundaries.
Yeah.
Huge issue.
Massive. Saying no, saying stop, even just saying, I'm going to do this thing for myself, it feels almost impossible. So they feel like helpless victims, tossed around by other people's demands or moods.
And this actually pushes people away, doesn't it? Even though they crave connection.
Totally. Glover calls them Teflon men. They work so hard to be smooth and perfect that nothing sticks. No conflict, but also no real connection. He says it's actually our rough edges, our imperfections that give others something to connect with.
It's a really powerful point. And all this stuff inevitably impacts their relationships.
Oh, big time. He notes they can be terrible listeners, often more focused on defending themselves or trying to fix the other person. They tend to blame their partners when things go wrong. And there are often significant issues around sexuality, too.
Like what kind of issues?
Dissatisfaction, dysfunction, sometimes compulsive behaviors. It all ties back to that core pattern of hiding their true selves, their needs, their desires, especially the ones they feel ashamed of.
So where does this all start?
Yeah.
Why do so many guys fall into this pattern? Glover traces it way back, right, to childhood.
Yeah, to childhood conditioning. The fundamental idea is for these guys, somewhere along the line, they got the message. It does not feel safe or acceptable for me to just be who I am.
That's heavy. How does that happen?
Well, think about being a kid. You're helpless, totally dependent, and kids are naturally egocentric. They think everything revolves around them, that they cause everything. So their biggest fear is abandonment.
And abandonment experiences, as he calls them, don't have to be huge traumas, right?
No, not necessarily. It could be crying and nobody comes right away, or a parent getting really angry unexpectedly. Every child has these moments. But for some, combined with that naive interpretation, it must be my fault, it leads to what Glover calls toxic shame.
Which isn't just, I did something bad. It's, I am bad.
Exactly. A deep core belief. There must be something fundamentally wrong with me. So, to survive, to avoid more pain or abandonment, they develop coping strategies. And the nice guy paradigm becomes their survival map.
That whole, if I can hide my flaws and become what I think others want me to be, then I will be loved, get my needs met, and have a problem-free life.
You got it. And you see it in the stories. Alan, whose alcoholic dad left, he decided to be the absolute opposite, super good, which his mom encouraged. Or Jason, from that seemingly perfect family.
The one with the controlling parents.
Yeah. He spent his life trying to live up to this impossible image of perfection, always feeling like he wasn't good enough. The really sad part is, even when this childhood map clearly isn't working in their adult lives, they don't question the map.
They just try harder, do more of the same.
Exactly. Just keep digging that hole, hoping for a different outcome. It's tragic, really.
So how does this hiding, this shame, show up in adulthood?
Well, they become cover-up artists. Any mistake, forgetting something, being late, feeling down, having needs, even feeling sexual, it feels like proof that they're bad and unlovable. So they hide it. He contrasts it with a kid maybe showing his mom the pinholes he poked in the table. A nice guy would hide that evidence out of shame.
And getting needs met. They do that indirectly.
Yeah, through things like covert contracts, these unspoken deals. I'll do this nice thing for you, and you will, but the other person doesn't know that part.
Which leads to caretaking, trying to fix everyone else.
Right. Often without being asked. It's a way to feel needed, maybe get some approval, but it also distracts from their own issues. And it sets up that resentment cycle when they feel like they give and never get enough back.
That leads to the victim triangle, right? Where the resentment just sort of spills out.
Precisely. Those victim pukes, as Glover's wife calls them, passive-aggressive comments, maybe sudden blow-ups. It's all that repressed frustration finally leaking out sideways because they can't express it directly. Shane's cycle with Raquel is a classic example, showering her with gifts to buy love, her feeling smothered, him getting resentful. Drama ensues.
Okay, so that's the problem laid bare. It sounds pretty entrenched. How do people actually break free from this? What's the way out?
Well, this is where the empowering part comes in. It fundamentally starts with shifting focus. Learning self-approval, focusing on pleasing the only person whose approval truly matters in the long run, yourself.
And the irony is, when they do that, they actually start getting the connection they wanted all along.
That's the beautiful paradox. Glover gives lots of practical steps. One is just identifying your own approval-seeking behaviors, and then consciously trying not doing them, going on moratoriums.
Like the guy Cal, who stopped washing his car obsessively.
Yeah. He kept it spotless, thinking it impressed people. He stopped for a month. Guess what? Nobody noticed, nobody cared, nobody stopped liking him. It challenged that core fear directly.
Simple but powerful.
What else? Taking good care of yourself. Consciously. Even small things, buying socks you actually like. Starting to exercise. It directly combats that feeling of worthlessness. And using positive affirmations.
Replacing those old negative tapes playing in your head.
Exactly. Things like, I am lovable just as I am. My needs are important. I am perfectly imperfect. Saying them, writing them down, really trying to internalize them.
Spending time alone seems key too.
Crucial. To figure out who you are without constantly referencing others. What do you like? What are your rules?
Yeah.
It means facing that fear of loneliness, but finding strength in it. And then the really big one.
Revealing yourself.
Yeah.
To safe people.
Yes. This is vital for releasing that toxic shame. Reed, the guy who confessed his relapse and secret sexual behaviors to his men's group,
Uh,
he expected judgment, but he got support,
mm.
respect. That's how you realize, okay, I'm not bad. I don't need to perform. People can actually love the real me, flaws and all. It's like shedding old skin.
That realization must be incredibly freeing. And it leads into reclaiming personal power.
Exactly. Which isn't about controlling others, it's a state of mind. Believing you can handle whatever life throws at you. Welcoming challenges, even.
How do you cultivate that?
Key strategies include surrendering, letting go of what you can't control, focusing on what you can. Like Gil, who stopped trying to change his partner Barb and focused on himself, which ironically improved the relationship.
Dwelling in reality, not fantasy.
Right. Nice image. Guys often distort reality, idealizing people or situations. Les had to face the difficult truth about his marriage, not the idealized version, to make healthy choices.
And expressing feelings directly, not bottling them up or letting them leak out sideways.
Yes, learning to own your feelings. I feel angry, not you make me mad. Your feelings won't kill you. Like your story about the car dent expressing the real feeling, about being pushed away, actually deepened the connection.
Facing fears is another big one, isn't it?
Huge. Nice guys play it safe, which causes its own kind of suffering. Nolan, terrified of divorce, just practice telling himself, I can handle it, and developing integrity doing what feels right to you, not what you guess others want.
Like Joel, who lied about leaving work early. That erodes integrity.
Absolutely. And then boundaries. We talked about how hard it is, but it's fundamental. Clever's shoestring analogy shows how nice guys backpedal to keep the peace. Setting boundaries is about changing yourself, your own tolerance.
Like Jake with Keisha. He stopped tolerating her belligerence, set boundaries, and eventually she sought help and respected him more.
Exactly. And those two rules are great gut checks. The second date rule, would you have tolerated this early on? And the healthy male rule, how would someone with healthy self-esteem handle this?
So the ultimate goal is becoming this integrated male.
Yeah. Someone who accepts all of themselves, the good, the bad, the powerful, the assertive, the passionate, and the imperfect. Someone with a strong sense of self, who likes themselves, takes responsibility for their needs, and acts with integrity.
And this changes everything, right? Relationships, work.
Everything. In relationships, you start looking at the system, not just blaming the partner. Maybe your partner's dysfunction is actually a gift, helping you work on your stuff. Like Carl seeing his wife's anger as a chance to deal with his own fear of criticism.
And not reinforcing bad behavior, like dog training.
Yeah, basically. Joe stopped trying to fix his wife's silent treatments. She had to learn to deal with her own issues. It empowers both people.
What about reclaiming masculinity? Connecting with men seems important there.
Absolutely essential, especially for guys who maybe had absent or difficult fathers. Building strong male friendships helps break unhealthy emotional dependency, maybe even on a partner or mother. It fosters independence. Getting physically strong helps too. Exercise, healthy habits, it builds confidence.
And sex. That seems like a big area tangled up in shame for nice guys.
Huge. Glover says, the nicer the guy, the darker the sexual secrets. So it's about bringing that shame into the light, learning about healthy self-pleasure without shame, saying no to bad or unsatisfying sex, not just taking scraps. Aaron's sexual moratorium actually improved things because he felt less resentful. Ultimately, self-confidence is the biggest turn-on.
The bull moose effect.
Exactly. And finally, life and work. Breaking out of mediocrity caused by fear, perfectionism, self-sabotage. Like Charlie facing his fear to become a pilot, realizing good enough is okay, asking for help. Shifting from a scarcity mindset to an abundance one, believing good things are possible. What one man can do, another man can do.
Wow. That's a lot to take in, but incredibly hopeful.
So for someone listening who recognizes some of this, what's one small thing they can do, like this week?
Dr. Glover has loads of breaking free activities. A really simple but powerful one to start with is activity #23. Just observe yourself. That's it.
Observe what specifically? Notice when you say yes, but you really mean no. When you agree to something just to avoid rocking the boat. Don't try to change it yet, just notice it. Write it down maybe, or just make a mental note. Awareness is always the first step.
Okay, just observe. That sounds doable. So we've really covered a lot today, diving into this nice guy syndrome, from where it starts in childhood, how it plays out, and importantly, how to start breaking free.
And remember, breaking free isn't about becoming a jerk. It's about becoming integrated, whole, embracing everything you are, setting healthy boundaries, and valuing your own needs.
It's about authenticity. So here's a final thought to leave you with. Knowing what you now know about this whole nice guy paradigm,
Yeah.
what old, maybe unconscious script might you still be following? What pattern might be holding you back from the authentic, fulfilling life you really want?
That's the journey, isn't it? Self-acceptance, true confidence. It starts with understanding. Keep exploring, keep asking those questions. There's real freedom in being authentically